Are there things hiding beyond the grave? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be taking a look at what would happen if science proved that ghosts were real.
So it's a folktale.
To some.
For this video, we're looking at how the world would change if we found concrete evidence of the paranormal.
Hello! How are you?
The idea that spirits wander the world dates back millennia. It's a belief common to the animism and ancestor worship of pre-literature folk religions across cultures.
Everybody in Mesopotamia, as far as I understand it, believed in ghosts. So you've never had a conversation with someone saying, oh, I was talking to my neighbour and she said she saw a ghost in the laundry and she must be stupid to believe all that kind of stuff.
Ghosts also appear in ancient Mesopotamian sources and ancient Egyptian culture. There's even a ghost story in the Hebrew Bible and Old Testament, where King Saul talks to the ghost of the prophet Samuel, summoned by the witch of Endor. However, the modern concept of ghosts owes much to spiritualism, a relatively new religious movement that took off in the 19th century.
But that's where things start breaking down.
It was set in motion by Kate and Margaretta Fox, sisters in New York who in 1848 claimed that ghosts spoke to them through rapping sounds. They later admitted that it was a hoax. But soon there were so many people claiming that they could commune with the dead that societies formed to investigate.
What is your name, spirit?
The purported proofs that spiritualists offered included spirit photography, a technique for capturing ghosts on film pioneered by hoax photographer William H. Mumler. Mumler went as far as to scam Abraham Lincoln's widow, using double exposure to create a photo with her and her husband's quote-unquote ghost. He was eventually taken to court for fraud. But the 21st century has seen a new type of paranormal proof, in the form of the seemingly endless ghost hunting shows produced since the early 2000s.
Our main goal is to research, educate, and protect the people having an experience.
When it comes to Jason and his personal experience that got him trying to find answers, he and I both have had experiences that you can't do anything but start to question.
The modus operandi of these shows is to use both spiritualism and science to obtain evidence of spiritual activity. They might have a medium join them during the vigils, but they also use high-tech equipment like night vision cameras, high-quality microphones, spirit boxes, and even Microsoft Kinects.
I immediately asked Grant to rewind the tape so I could see what we had caught on the thermal imaging camera. And upon him rewinding it, I could see a figure. I could see a figure standing right there in the door next to us.
These shows have produced endless amounts of quote-unquote evidence for the paranormal since their inception, often in the form of blurry shapes, orbs, and EVP recordings of spirits talking. Though a lot of people deride ghost hunting shows as pure entertainment, many viewers do believe the evidence they produce.
Okay, it's good. I hear breath. I hear a breath in here, in the corner.
That touched me.
If ghosts do exist, then these investigations have probably given us the best evidence we have. Yet far more people aren't convinced by them than are. So maybe science has already proven that ghosts exist, and it hasn't changed all that much.
There's so many ghostly entities in this building, it's impossible to count.
But that's not very interesting.
I don't understand the concept, actually, but somebody told me it was important, so.
So what would happen if somehow we managed to get complete, irrefutable proof that the specters from Penny Dreadfuls were out there, roaming the veil between life and death?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Well, if this proof was compelling enough to sway even the most ardent skeptics, it would radically change how we view death.
Excuse me. Hello, I'm Stewie. Big fan.
The existence of ghosts could offer instant peace of mind to those of us still in the land of the living. Death anxiety is a common problem in the modern world, with plenty of people scared of the potential oblivion that comes after you die. This is especially true for agnostics and atheists who either aren't sure if they believe in an afterlife or adamantly think that there isn't one.
I can accept that personally, death is nothing. It's like you're here, you're not here.
You think that's the end of it?
Period.
Ghosts would prove that there is an afterlife of some form, which could genuinely bring peace to those of us who struggle to come to terms with this unfortunate part of the human condition.
See ya. See ya.
the first thing we'd probably do with the knowledge would be to find out how to effectively communicate with the dead.
Do you understand that?
No, yeah.
He says nobody knew.
Already, many mediums have turned their quote-unquote abilities into lucrative enterprises.
Something else curious transpired at one of Von Prague's spirit circles.
How are you? Good to see you.
Group readings where attendees pay $100 each to speak to the dead.
If we could somehow evaluate which mediums were the real deal and which weren't, these talents would only become more valuable. Everybody has somebody dead that they want to talk to, whether that's a deceased relative or a celebrity like Elvis or Marilyn Monroe. Mediumship would become big business. It would also transform law enforcement. Though controversial, mediums have already been enlisted around the world to help the police solve crimes. If we could reliably talk to the dead, we could just ask who killed them.
I'm walking in there and straight away I'm aware of spirit. Straight away.
Of course, whether ghost testimony would be admissible in a court of law is another question entirely. But eventually, spirit witnesses might become part of trials. On the other hand, it's also possible that the effects would be less positive. It might turn out that talking to spirits would be more unsettling than comforting. For all we know, ghosts might all be extremely distressed and potentially dangerous. After all, ghost hunters frequently stumble on ghosts who are distressed by their circumstances and struggling to come to terms with their deaths. It can't be fun to exist in a world that you can barely interact with, and we have no idea whether or not ghosts can communicate with one another.
Why do you remain in this house?
We're not dead.
Why do you remain in this house?
We're not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead.
Plus, it could just be that we aren't meant to know what happens after we die. Many religious people have faith in an afterlife, but that's very different from getting first-hand experience of the land of the dead before your time has come.
This place is just riddled with death and agony.
If we're all doomed to become restless, roaming ghosts, is that a truth anybody would actually want to know? Maybe the knowledge would haunt us throughout our lives, making us dread the moment that we too become an unruly spirit.
It's not a matter that concerns you, Mr. Torrance. At least not at this point.
Proof that ghosts exist could be mixed news for many religions, too. The Hebrew Bible and Old Testament forbid communications with the dead, seeing it as immoral. That would suddenly become a much greater concern. Lobby groups might call for laws over whether people should talk to the dead, or who is allowed to and in what circumstances. Theologically, it also presents another difficulty, especially for Christian eschatology. How does one reconcile the existence of spirits here on Earth with the idea that we have designated destinations in the afterlife?
And your mom just wants to say, thank you so much for allowing my soul to go the other side.
Yeah.
Can I give you a hug?
It could create complications for Islam as well, as spirits are generally accepted to be jinn. While these are supernatural beings, they don't have human origins and are more like angels or demons, though they can perform good or bad deeds.
Run, insect. Run and tell those you will what you will. Tell them there is something loose in their city. Something which feeds on wishes.
It could also pose problems for Hinduism, since it sheds doubt on reincarnation, with people's disembodied spirits continuing to linger instead of entering a new stage of being. The existence of ghosts definitely wouldn't mean that religions would be abandoned. In fact, proof that we have a spiritual component could give them a boost instead. But they might have to adapt to make sense of this newfound phenomenon. After all, if we could prove the existence of spirits and communicate with them, what other parts of the afterlife might we be able to unravel?
Susie. Stop it! Stop it, Susie!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
If ghosts do exist, then we've either already got a lot of proof that most people write off as being nothing worthwhile, or we haven't yet come up with a good method to find them.
So I think as far as we can tell, as far as we understand the science, and we understand science very well.
Yeah.
No.
No.
But I don't want to ruin Halloween. It's still great.
When we do, the discovery will have huge psychological and sociological ramifications. affecting all of the world's religions and even the most ardent atheists. And that's what would happen if science proved that ghosts were real.
I didn't hear the others talk about this part. I don't think anybody knew about this.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.